My fellow Wednesday Warriors, our hobby is expensive, right? With all the outstanding comics on the stands these days, it's easy to drop north of $50 per week at your local comic shop. That's at least $200 per month. Recently, a lot of videos of people's comic book collections and Wednesday pulls have been on my For You page. And it made me think of the rite of passage that most of us go through. You know, the one where one Wednesday you get to your shop to get your pull list and realize after looking at that budget, you're going to have to put a couple of those books back. I remember when I underwent this ritual in the distant past when I was a broke college graduate in 2018 and around 2 weeks ago. Anyway, this reflection led me to want to share 5 tips about reading comics on a budget. These tips are completely legal, as the only piracy we condone is that of the Straw Hat Pirates. My first recommendation is to borrow comics from your local library. I think the library is a sorely overlooked way to read and sample comics. When I was studying at a DC library for coding interviews after college, I came across an omnibus for Mark Waid and the late Mike Wieringo's Fantastic Four. I got to read that entire run for free. I highly recommend it, by the way. It's a great Fantastic Four run. Maybe my favorite. This is also how I read Batman Nightfall. Unpopular opinion, I think Nightfall is the most overrated Batman story ever. Anyway, I know it's a gamble regarding the physical quality of books at the library, but if you want to read comics for free without stealing from the industry and the writers, artists, colorists, inkers that we all love, your best bet is the library. My next recommendation is to search for books at comic book conventions. At cons, there are usually several retailers that have big discounts on books. At AwesomeCon in DC last year, I picked up Superman Earth 1 Volume 2 and Green Lantern Earth 1 Volume 1 for $10 a piece. Also, you don't have to go to expensive cons to get good deals on books. You can use sites like fancons.com to find smaller conventions in your area. These conventions thrive and depend on your patronage, and they often have the same deals big cons have. Speaking of comic book conventions, I'm attending the DMV's BlurredCon this weekend in Arlington, Virginia with my girlfriend and my mama. Come say hi, and if you cosplay and like taking pics, please take one with my mama. She loves meeting new people and taking pictures with cosplayers. My third recommendation is to go to comic book shops on Free Comic Book Day and Black Friday. Free Comic Book Day is the community's premier holiday. It's always on the first Saturday of May. Comic book shops offer select free comics from publishers along with discounts on books in their inventory. In my experience, most shops have 20 to 25% off sales. Many retailers also leverage Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to have huge sales. My family has a tradition where we visit Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland at midnight after Thanksgiving to enjoy their annual Black Friday sale. Last year, my girlfriend and I visited a comic book shop called Forbidden Planet in Manhattan on the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend. The employees told us that they had a whopping 40% sale on Black Friday. We pushed our visit to the store from Friday to Saturday to rest and visit friends. I was pissed. My fourth tip is to use digital comic book subscriptions. Marvel Unlimited, DC Infinite, and even Amazon's Comixology Unlimited are low-cost subscriptions that allow you access to tens of thousands of comics. Think of them as streaming services for comics. In addition to their base $7.99 per month subscription, DC Infinite has an ultra tier for $12.99 a month that allows you to read most of their library and new books a month after their release. Amazon's Comixology Unlimited program offers readers a way to read a plethora of books from the big two, along with indie publishers and manga. My last tip is to buy trades, physical and or digital, on Amazon. Before I continue, I want to say that I don't like Kindle's monopoly on the digital comic book industry and how they bought and replaced Comixology. I also detest how books purchased on Amazon don't give consumers real ownership. They are essentially leasing a book in which Amazon can remove or alter at any time. I completely understand if you don't choose to patronize Kindle or Amazon, but if you buy Kindle Comics, I recommend you always wait for a discount. It makes little sense to buy books you don't actually own at full price. I've bought plenty of Kindle trays for around $5. Amazon also offers great deals on physical comics. For example, this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin hardcover costs $16 on Amazon. Guess how much it costs from IDW and Barnes & Noble? $30. Let's use another example. My girlfriend bought me this Wonder Woman Dead Earth hardcover from Amazon for around $16. If she would have gone elsewhere, it would have cost her $30. Before I conclude this video, I just want to say the best way to support the comic book industry is to buy books from your shop, and for you to preferably have a pull list. This way, your local comic book shop can, one, stay open, two, they can figure out how many copies they need for a book, and it helps publishers track how well the book is doing. Me, I prefer trades, but the thing with trades is that if you're not buying the individual issues, the publishers will think like this book isn't doing well. So by the time the trade comes out, it's possible for the book to be canceled. Those are my 5 tips to save some dough on your comic book journey. If you guys have any other recommendations or advice, I'd appreciate you sharing them in the comments. I realized after writing this, I could have added a 6th tip and told you guys to buy used comics online, but I'm not knowledgeable about where the best places are to get used comics. So if you know anything about that, I appreciate you sharing that information in the comments as well. See y'all later.